somehow Baldur's Gate 3 is different for me. This game feels massive, but thanks to the great early presentation and tutorial, I'm in love with this game, even when I cannot understand other CRPG games. Is Baldur's Gate 3 good for someone who never played D&D or Dungeons and Dragons and don't enjoy CRPG before? Let's talk about it. Baldur's Gate 3 is the newest game made by Larian Studios, the developer who also makes Divinity Original Sin games. It's turn-based RPG games, but in my opinion, more complex than my usual JRPG games like Persona 5 or Disco Elysium, for example. I love turn-based JRPG games, and that's why I want to get into CRPG games in the first place. I hear this genre is fully immersive, story-rich, and choices in the game that matters and will be able to affect the outcome of your story. I'm pretty curious about Baldur's Gate 3 and decided to try the game. Damn, I love this game so much to the point that I keep playing until 9 AM, then sleep, wake up, and continue playing it again. The first strong point of Baldur's Gate 3 is probably the early presentation of the story, mechanics, and characters. The game did it so well to teach me how to play the game and also tell the story in such an engaging way. Everything flows great. The characters are also pretty relatable and somewhat easy to understand. Except Lae'zel. I hate her and decided to just leave her locked in a cage. I'm sorry, Lae'zel Sims who watched this video. Compared to Divinity Original Sin 2, I remember that game confused me a lot. You suddenly wake up on a ship as a slave or some sort. There is a murder happening, a lot of talking and info dump, then suddenly a combat that I don't understand how to do. It's just too much for me to the point that I feel dumb because I cannot understand anything in the game. And compared to Disco Elysium, while the intro is pretty interesting, I just cannot relate to the people and how they use fancy words or topics that I cannot understand. Plus you have to solve a murder mystery and read tons of words, which is exhausting. Back to Baldur's Gate 3, I feel the game is much more enjoyable for casual gamers who never get into CRPG games. Sure, it's based on the tabletop game Dungeons and Dragons, but everything is handled by the game in the background, so you can just focus on tactics in the combat and role-playing as your character in the game. Like most CRPG games, Baldur's Gate 3 has a ton of choices you are free to pick, a lot of skills and builds you can choose, race and background of many beings, and of course, every choice you make can make the story goes anywhere. It's a really immersive role-playing game in my opinion. Even one of a kind. You can be a hero, you can be a thief, you can also be evil. Lots of options, and of course, it makes the game have a great replayability value. The hardest thing to learn in this game is the combat with your party composition and the build you choose. It's not like the modern turn-based RPG where you have like mana points or MP to do skills or magic and just trade blows with the enemy. Here it's much more complex in Baldur's Gate 3. There are 3 different points to do different actions. From action points, you can, for example, help a down character or dashing using that point per turn. There are also bonus action points where you can jump or shove a target away using that point per turn, and spell slot points that are divided into some tiers based on the tier or the level of your skills and spells. Because of these mechanics, I need to learn how to be effective and how to prepare myself before the combat begins. Like maybe put some characters on the high ground so they can attack easily but save from melee opponents, and so on. Thankfully, the game introduces these mechanics in a great way that I can understand pretty quickly. The D&D part, or the Dungeons and Dragons mechanic from this game, is that for every action you take, for most of the conversation options you pick, you need to roll a dice for it. If the number you roll is higher than the requirement, then your action will be a success. But if not, then it will fail. I think the same thing happens in combat. Every time you attack or take damage, it's all based on the dice you roll. There is detailed information about it, but I don't care too much since everything is handled in the background by the game. It's kinda like RNG, but the RNG is much more detailed, so you can mix and match your actions. So, how good is Baldur's Gate 3 in general? For me, it's really good. I spent more than 12 hours in 2 days playing the game since the full release, and I'm having a blast playing it. If you like role playing with a deep story and every choice matters, I fully recommend Baldur's Gate 3. Even when you never play any CRPG games, even when you probably tried some CRPG games but never enjoyed it before, or if even you never played Dungeons and Dragons before, Baldur's Gate 3 is a really good game. I feel like Baldur's Gate 3 is a very strong contender for Game of the Year of 2023. What do you think about Baldur's Gate 3 and this video? Let me know in the comment section. Please subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed the video, and here's my other video that I think you might enjoy watching too. I hope you have a good day and see you.